Apple just announced their next new product, and everyone kind of missed it.
Hey everyone, I'm an Apple intern.
This was not some employee going rogue with new info or an iPhone being left at a bar, but this was Apple themselves showing off a host of new features coming to new iPads, Macs, AirPods, Apple TVs, and more. Let me tell you guys about the 10 or so major changes that Apple just sort of announced that no one is talking about, and why right now is kind of the most exciting time to be an Apple fan, because a lot of good stuff is coming, and it's coming very soon. Also, speaking of what's coming soon, like right now, is a big upgrade to your iPad thanks to my friends and this video sponsor, Paperlike, but a bit more on this in just a moment. So let me rewind for a moment and just give you a little context. If you guys have been watching this channel for a while, or you've just been sort of following Apple as a company for a while, you know that they love to sort of include little Easter eggs and little hints and clues as to what is coming next. Their event invites are obviously very famous for this. This year, for example, was kind of a clue at new colors, sort of the new thermal system for the iPhone 17 Pro. They love to do that. But what also most people don't realize is that throughout like their hour and a half, 2 hour, sometimes 3 hour events, they continue to drop hints and clues as to what is coming next. Not just for the stuff they're showing off at the event, but also they're showing off brand new features that'll soon be coming to new products coming just a couple of weeks later, which is exactly where we find ourselves right now, with more products set to launch as early as basically at any moment now, maybe even a second Apple event coming this fall. Now, obviously some of these are going to be a bigger deal than others, but I do want to go through all the ones I noticed because we're already starting to see some reports about what is changing, and for some of you, this might just be, a worthwhile reason to upgrade your stuff. For example, this year, for whatever reason, Apple had real courage to give us real colors on the Pro and iPhones. We got that new orange and blue color on the 17 Pro series, and we've already gotten mock-ups of what a orange color or even a green color or other colors could look like on new iPad Pros. Another example of a change we should start to see across the board is with the new selfie camera. This 18 megapixel selfie camera not only is an upgrade in terms of sheer quality, but because it's got that square sensor, it's able to be more versatile and basically work the same way horizontally or vertically, and this seems like it's prime for the all-new iPad Pro. For example, an interesting rumor a couple of weeks ago now was saying that Apple was going to release a new iPad Pro with new silicon and also 2 front-facing cameras, one in a horizontal orientation and one in a vertical orientation, so you could have your best video sort of orientation no matter what you were doing. Your video would look great whether you're using the iPad landscape or in portrait mode, but this might actually make way more sense. If Apple could put the camera on the new iPad Pro in a optimal position, they could use this new higher quality square sensor to do a great looking horizontal or vertical video setup here. And also it already has the center stage tech. iPad actually pioneered this center stage tech long ago. A couple of years ago it got it, and it's been rumored for the iPhone, and now we finally got it. So that's already a box that Apple can check. It's also nice to see that Apple is finally giving us promotion on more devices. Now that the base iPhone 17 has this, I think the one other glaring omission in the Apple lineup that could use promotion would be the iPad mini. It's sort of interesting, and I guess I'll get into it in a moment, Apple's experimentation with different devices. If the iPhone Air is the experimental device in the iPhone lineup, the iPad mini is the experiment with the iPad, and if Apple is feeling a little bit more risky in 2025 and willing to do some more out-of-the-box things, I think that making the iPad mini more pro and in turn giving it promotion would make a whole lot of sense. And we've heard rumblings lately that Apple could be looking to step up the iPad mini and make it more of a prosumer device. And hopefully with promotion now on the iPhone 17, it's all but confirmed for the new iPad mini, hopefully coming soon as well. And hopefully some other more pro features coming to that smaller iPad too. It also seems increasingly obvious, speaking of the iPhone Air, that Apple is looking to maybe rebrand the Air name within their lineup, because right now it's a little confusing. On the iPad lineup, the Air stands for like the middle tier. It's not Pro, it's not the basic, it's the Goldilocks right there in the middle, giving most people most of what they want. On the Mac side, the MacBook Air is sort of your basic bread and butter run-of-the-mill laptop and kind of your basic run-of-the-mill Mac besides the Mac Mini. And then on the iPhone side, it's like the new kind of premium flagship thing that's new and different and unique. I wonder if Apple is looking to bring bring the Air name back to its roots, and the iPhone Air is the start of that. For example, we have heard a lot of rumors lately about Apple looking to bring back the MacBook name as a new sort of budget-oriented $500-$600 computer, and I wonder if this is sort of going within that new theme, where the MacBook Air might be more elevated now to being a bit more premium, a bit more thin, lightweight, and powerful, and not relegated to being budget, and we get a new basic MacBook in the lineup. For the iPad, I wonder if the iPad Air becomes the thinnest and lightest and most unique iPad in the lineup, and not just sort of your Goldilocks right there in the middle. It's interesting that the iPad Pro is the thinnest iPad in the lineup, where the iPad Air, that was all about in the beginning Air being thin and lightweight, and it's like that on the iPhone, isn't. It's just a little confusing, and I wonder if this is Apple sort of taking a step to sort of rebrand their Air products, and hopefully this means maybe some more exciting design elements and changes coming and new features for the iPad Air and also the MacBook Air in particular. And I know I've been talking a lot about the iPad lineup in this video, but the reason for that is that according to all the leaks and rumors, Apple is going to be bringing a lot of these iPhone upgrades to the iPad lineup very soon. I would love to see the iPad transform even more in 2025, both in terms of the way it looks and also the way it feels. Because if you do a lot of note-taking, drawing, illustrating on the iPad, using the Apple Pencil with that, very digital feeling screen just feels very unnatural. The timing is perfect because my friends over at Paperlike have a solution you guys have been waiting for. It is the all-new Paperlike 3 screen protector, and it is here checking all the boxes and here to totally transform the way you write, take notes, draw, illustrate, just use your iPad in 2025 and beyond. Paperlike 3 is taking everything you know and love about the fleet of Paperlikes we've seen, but making things even better. For example, the installation process here has gotten a really nice upgrade with an all-new butterfly application system that aims to help with alignment, eliminate dust bubbles, and just provide way more of a clear instruction that'll really walk you through everything step by step. And you've got this interactive video you can actually follow along with as you go through the process here on your iPad. And as someone who, I'll admit it, I'm never usually very good with these things, especially on the iPad with screen protectors. This just makes the process so simple, so easy, so nice to follow along. And when you're done with the install, you're going to notice this upgrade right away. Of course, Paperlike 3 is still using the iconic nano dot surface technology here that gives you that true paper feel when you're writing or drawing, but also a 4-layer structure here that is going to protect the very fragile and expensive to replace iPad screen. And again, it's hard for me to articulate in video, but if you do any kind of work with the Apple Pencil, or really any stylus on the iPad, you know that feeling of pen to paper, so to speak, that digital feeling just doesn't feel like pen to paper, but that's what Paperlike allows you to have on your iPad. So if you've been looking maybe for a way to breathe some new life into your current iPad, or you just are looking for a way to make that tactile feeling come to the iPad, get rid of that digital feeling and upgrade your writing or drawing experience, Paperlike 3 is amazing. It is checking all the boxes. I love it on my iPad. I know you guys are gonna love it as well. Totally transforms the experience in the best way possible. If you wanna learn more, check out all the Paperlike 3 has to offer and give your iPad, any iPad you've got, a major upgrade. Check out the all new Paperlike 3 at the link right down below in the description. Also, if there was any thought about Apple sort of moving away from their dependency on other companies and sort of building their own silicon, the cat is certainly out of the bag, as Apple is looking to go all in on making all components of their devices. And now with the iPhone Air, you not only have Apple Silicon, the CPU and the GPU powering this whole thing, but you've got the C1 cell modem and now the new N series chip that is providing even more data for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and things like that. This is, I believe, the first of its kind Apple device where Apple is now making all of its own major silicon. There are still like some parts that aren't Apple made in there, some other supporting hardware, but this is Apple now making all of the major hardware. And this has got to be an obvious step right now into what Apple wants to do with all of their products. Not only would we see iPads now coming with Apple C1 and N series chips, but also I wonder if this could finally mean the beginning of cellular Macs. Of course, there are also some more negative implications from all this that is definitely interesting interesting to see play out. For example, looks like Apple is going all in on eSIM, like they are going to continue to remove physical SIM slots from as many devices as possible. So if you're not eSIM only, buckle up, because that is a move that Apple is making. Obviously, they're not afraid of higher priced devices, so that's something they're working to do as well. And then it was very interesting to see this over on X, so I had to share it. Apple's camera control. On one year, camera control is the best thing since sliced bread, and then the next year, during like the most high-profile Apple event of the year, when Apple could certainly, it's like the best case they could show camera control for the selfie promotional video, they didn't even use it. You gotta kind of wonder what the fate of camera control is if Apple's not even heavily promoting it like they once were. At one point, last year, there was a lot of talk about camera control being the new thing that went on all devices, on iPads, and obviously all the iPhones and things like that, where it already is. But now the camera control fate seems a little unclear, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But on a more positive note, I do think there is a lot of chatter, and I do think it's worth mentioning as well, that the introduction of the iPhone Air, love it or hate it, does seem like a little bit of a return to form for Apple, where they're going a little bit more back to their roots, where they're focusing a little bit more on form and a little less on function, and showing that Apple can still innovate in terms of design. And again, you love the iPhone Air, you hate it, you love the single camera setup, you hate the bad battery, whatever it is, to see the innovation in terms of how much they were able to cram into sort of the camera plateau and how thin that phone is pretty impressive to see, and does show and hopefully signals that Apple is moving to sort of double down again on design and bring both form and function to their devices. There's been a lot of speculation in the post-Johnny Ive era of Apple if their design elements could still be as, sort of loved as they once were, and we've sort of seen Apple kind of go back and forth on design languages, but hopefully this is a signal and a step in the right direction, where Apple will once again give us great, beautiful looking products that also pack some great versatility as well. Apple is certainly right now, they are primed with their own silicon, they're primed with some good designs, some good software, hopefully to get some things going in 2025, and maybe we will see the fruits of this stuff soon, with potentially a second event in the fall, maybe an October or November event, but I'll probably get all those details together for an upcoming video, but just keeping you guys informed and getting this on your radar for now. So I'm curious, guys, your thoughts on this. What do you think Apple's plans show us about their next devices? Do you think the new iPad lineup is going to get better? Do you think they're going to expand their silicon? Do you think we're finally going to be getting like an orange iPad Pro? Drop a comment down below, let me know. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. I am Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle. I'll see you guys in the next one.